I'm gonna read some old stuff and some new stuff. This is an old one. It's called Please Do Not Badger the Witness. I came home one recent spring afternoon to discover a hummingbird had gotten into our house. It was in a panic, flitting from room to room, looking for freedom. I opened all the doors and windows. Then I went to the kitchen and made myself a grilled Swiss cheese and tomato sandwich with Dijon mustard on whole grain sprouted bread. I placed it on a small white plate and with a butter knife, cut it diagonally because it tastes better that way. I went back to the fridge and lifted out a round bottle of Orangina. I shook it quickly and twisted off the blue cap. I then made my way to my small office and sat down at my desk. I noticed how the colors matched on the spines of a few books piled up in front of me. I noticed some dust on a corner of the desk. I felt the warm breeze from the open window. I saw my mother's Polaroid eyes looking at me from when she was 20 years younger than I am now. I heard the sound of my son bouncing on the trampoline in the backyard. I became aware of the bitter taste of misguided anger and resentment. I tried to breathe in the beauty of just sitting there, being alive. I closed my eyes and attempted to count all of my dreams that had come true. I lost count and bounced up against an unwanted whiff of nostalgia. After a moment, I took a bite of my sandwich. Everything I felt was true at that moment, everything. The ugly events of life, the unavoidable sadness that comes with growing up, the bad choices that I had to live with until I had the guts to do something about them, the questions. Suddenly, I heard my boy shout, "Hey, look, a hummingbird." Thank you. Second piece is called A Good Way to Lose a Leg. I grew up in Ohio, and if anybody here has spent any time in Ohio, it's very Ohio there. Good way to lose a leg. The adventurers hid themselves in the elusive corners of faded pop bottles. They scrunched down in the tight wrinkles of flattened rusty cans. They nestled silently within the powdered armpits of meaty models and discarded girly magazines. They pinched themselves to stay awake as they tried not to ferment and sour, barely floating alive in the last few drops of a tossed bottle of MD 2020. They barked in the voices of dead dogs. The adventures, they squeezed into the waistband of random underwear. They purred within the fur of a stiff, flea-bitten cat. They ached in the arches of a lost shoe. They waved from one empty glove to another. They cut and bled from broken glass. Running alongside a terracotta-hued B&O boxcar, the boys knew it was now or never. This is as slow as she's going to roll. One jumped, two jumped. With sweaty palms held out for life and limb, the third boy, running as fast as he could, pushed his young body to the limit. He felt like Tony Curtis reaching for Sidney Poitier in The Defiant Ones, but he had committed no crime. Bowling Green on a sewing machine. The train lurched as he tripped, somersaulting across the brown and green broken glass and gravel. He could feel his body digesting the tremendous weight of the thundering wheels inches from him. With his bursting heart still chasing adventure, he climbed to his feet and ran again. Now there was no hand to grab onto, only the slippery steel ladder offering a leg up. Because the train had picked up speed, he mistimed his jump, barely hooking on. He snapped out like a wet towel, his eyes fixed on his own tight knuckles. As the train banked, his body slammed into the speeding boxcar, catching the cuff of his jeans on a bolt. At that moment, he lost his grip. He dangled by his right pant leg for what seemed all of eternity. The creosote ties impersonating a deadly dotted line inches below his head. He felt his sneaker pull off. Then, in one quick tug and rip, he freed himself. Bowling Green on a sewing machine. Dog breath brought him around. As he struggled to his feet, a clarity attacked him, an acute reality he had never experienced. The adventures he chased were no longer hidden. As he walked back along the tracks, every 2-cent faded pop bottle, every rusty can, all the meaty, powdered armpits, all the debris, all the life, all the sadness, all the lost moments, all the smiles, all the danger, all the beauty, all the ugliness, all the rain, all the sunshine, all the music, all the fire, all the death, all the misunderstandings, all the fist fights, all the broken bones, all the bloody noses, all the hate, all the miles, all the love, all the distance, all the crying. It all spoke to him all the way back home. Good way to lose a leg. Thank you. This is called A Thoughtful Crash of Rhinos. And so the last poet on earth quietly folded her gripe water bottle into a paper hat. Employing a 10-penny rusty nail, she scratched her nickname on a toilet seat in the men's room of a White Castle. The pockets of her tattooed raincoat once held lint spun from gold. Her heart had already stopped once that day, so effortlessly, and then again. Her tongue had begun to collect dust. She thought back to a time when inspiration was legal and the stars shone brightly on the word. But now the sky had drowned itself for fear of being swallowed up in the marauding, vacuous avalanche, muscling a return to cave dwelling and dark launchings. She looked up into a sea of cold suns. The ground shook. Her heart beat again. A thoughtful crash of rhinos. This is an older piece. It's called And She Did. The sun always shone on Milton. As early as second grade, he was regarded as a special boy, bright, considerate, well-mannered. Therefore, it was a shock to everyone when, a few years later, he bit Cassie Green's arm until it bled because she reached in front of him during drawing time. His teacher, Miss Sigmund, sent him to the principal's office, where he was given half a dozen whacks on the seat of his toughskins. The next day, he informed Miss Sigmund that she had a dirty neck. Again, the teacher sent Milton to the office, but this time he was not given whacks. Instead, he was given a stern talking to about respect. A note was sent home with him asking for a parent or guardian to come in for a consultation. After Milton gave the note to his mother and she questioned him about it, he flatly denied all the charges. The next day, when he was called to the front of the room where his mother was speaking to Miss Sigmund, he crumbled under pressure and admitted his guilt in front of the whole fourth grade. His mother promptly took him by the arm and spanked him right in front of the whole class. On his way home from school that day, Cassie Green, her wound cleaned and dressed from the day before, pulled Milton aside near a tiny red brick alcove and deliberately showed him her white cotton panties. A gray hawk flew overhead with a dusty brown mouse in its beak. The sun shone on its back. Thank you. I'm not timing myself, Jerry, so when you give me the hook. This is a new piece. What? You gonna say something? One more poem? Okay. This is a new piece called Okay, You Mugs. My gun is a ghost. The freeway is made of glass. Patrolled by cotton candy helicopters, law-abiding cat burglars, scaled down, well-done, marinated skyscrapers, anxious to hack into top-secret squirrel, Morocco mole, ghetto fabulous pyramid schemes. Innocent vegetarian murderers peddle monkshood route to prison kindergarten teachers dying at the speed of light. Levitating, fist-bumping, fascist marionettes don't know my gun is a ghost and the freeways are made of glass. My life is a candy store robbery gone wrong because of the delicate infrastructure of left-handed pink, feather-light, deadly taser sharpshooters that fear feet worse than fate. They now cozy up to the bullseye, so hold your nose and swallow. Is this threatening to you? I hope so. The freeway's made of glass, and my gun is a ghost story told to teenage pallbearers whose mama don't love them for carrying water in their mouths, afraid to spit down a dry well. Death row is child's play. Smoke bootleg candy tender cigarettes while the peg leg woman bully stick braids your hair and sucks your cock until you disappear between the blue hot steel bars. Spry old men steal arthritic hubcaps, carjacking smart cars, setting them on fire with red-tailed hawk feathers and grizzly bear earwax. Your father is a ballet dancer and your mother is a dead kleptomaniac. You're a ghost gun baby grave in a slow speed chase on a southbound freeway made of glass. Adios, Kimosabi. See you in the funny papers, the funny papers. Ration my toilet paper out to only black assholes after I'm gone. So the joke's on you. Ooh, poopa doo. Social injustice is no excuse for lack of personal hygiene. The only way to stop a bad guy with a ghost gun is a good guy with a ghost or gun crazy couple on the run throughout the Midwest, mowing down background checks, escaping traffic breaks from here to East Timbuktu, flew the coup de grace, shattering glass freeway etiquette, piercing broke lines of white privilege as the poisonous hummingbirds tell the wilting flowers, this is not who we are, but who we've always been. Now we get steak fries with it. And if your defense team has a magic carpet to lie on, there'll be marshmallow dream bars and a dainty 30-year sentence that won't even leave a scar from the phantom bullet hole inside your ghost soul made of glass.